Hello YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. It's a wrap here, and I'm giving you my April TBRs. So stay tuned if you're interested. I'm behind. March was a time. A time was had in March, and I'm playing catch up. It is still March. There is 2 days left of March, and I have 2 more books. I'm in the middle of one book. I have 2 more books left on my March TBR that I need to finish. I gave myself too much credit because I already knew for months that there was a lot of different events and things that I committed myself to for the month of March, and it just threw me all off. And usually when in my more prepared self, you can also tell because of the way content has been coming up on my channel, that in my more prepared self, I usually pre-plan a bunch of my videos when I know that I'm going to be gone for that time. But of course I didn't, so now I'm just behind all over the place, reading schedule off. But in that, this is leading into my updates for this channel, in that I remind myself that Yudi, I'm doing this for fun. Like, I'm doing this because I'm, one, keeping myself accountable to not get caught up in, all the things I'm supposed to be doing, and reminding myself to do things that I enjoy. And one of the things I enjoy is reading. So, yeah, in that, there's going to be some changes on my channel. As you guys saw from the intro, I post on Saturday and Sunday. And for the past 2 weeks, I've just been posting on Saturday because I'm just dropping back just a little bit to 1 video a week, and not committing myself to that has to be every Saturday and Sunday. Just 1 video a week, you can commit to that. It's 9 times out of 10 going to be on Saturdays because Saturdays I post at 1, if you guys didn't know. Saturdays at 1 p.m. it's easy for me to organize recording and reading around that, versus it gets done when it gets done. So yeah, that's currently my posting schedule. If I end up posting more than that, happy birthday, but you guys will know for sure that every Saturday or once a week that there will be content coming from my channel. And yeah, that's my big update. And let's get into the TBR for this month, because this is another month of an ambitious TBR. And for February and March, my TBR was pretty much based on, I went to the library and bought a bunch of books. This month, my TBR is more concentrated on videos that I wanted to get out in March, but I was unable to, because as I was thinking through the videos, I was like, I want to read these books before I give y'all these videos. So yeah, so April is like reading for content, and then hopefully the goal is to get back to my physical, all the books that I bought, get back to my physical TBR. But yeah, it's for this month, it's a bunch of ebooks. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I have 3 physical books in my TBR for this month. Actually 4. I'm lying. I have 4 physical books in my TBR for this month. So because of that, I got my trusty iPad out, and we're just gonna go through the books that I have for this month. I have a lot. I think I have 10. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. This is a very ambitious TBR. So my first book I have is This is College by Darlene Cunningham. And this one follows 2 students that go to Howard. And one girl, she comes from a not very great relationship with her mother, and she always tries to control how things are going in her life. She feels like Howard is going to be her way of finally separating herself from her mother and the trauma of the relationship, and form her own path. And then we meet the other character in this story, who he comes from a family well-to-do, or pretty much socialites in the DC area. He is also trying to come from under the name of his family and all that comes with it, and just forge his own identity. And he feels he can do that by becoming a doctor. He is going to Howard And not only is he studying to be a doctor, but he's all like, I'm going to start forging my own family and find a woman that will be able to do that. They both have like this idea of what they want to do and this control over their lives. And I guess some type of attack happens on campus and it disrupts the control that they thought they had. The next book I have is Heartbreak You. Heartbreak You by... Who is Heartbreak You by? Heartbreak You is by Johnni Sherri. And this is a series. This came out a while ago, but this is also another book that I'm reading for a video. And this book follows 4 different characters that also, I believe they also go to a HBCU. So they go to a HBCU, and there's 4 different characters. All 4 of them are women who are friends or become, I don't know if they're all friends, but they form some type of bond on campus. And we have one character who is from Brooklyn, and she comes to this school pretty much feeling like her value is in her body, and like she finds her value through sex. But then something tragic happens, and it kind of makes her reevaluate if that's the only thing that she's good for. Okay, and then we have the next character who comes from a very privileged family, a well-to-do family, and her family sends her to this HBCU to reconnect with her roots because she doesn't have any Black friends. And then we have another student who is considered like a slacker and doesn't really care about academics, but always can finesse her way through life. And she feels that, she just needs to marry a basketball player and become a wife and live the good life. But baby, her finessing and manipulating might catch up to her. And then we have the last character who is the good girl, quote unquote, the good girl. And she meets like the big man on campus and they end up falling for each other. I guess he ends up playing her. So that's the 4 different stories. I'll let you know how Heartbreak You goes. Whew. The next book I have is In the Clouds by Imani Lewis. In the Clouds by Imani Lewis. And this follows 2 different characters. One character, they're both juniors in college. And one doesn't really know what she's doing with her life. She doesn't know what she wants to do after college. She's kind of lost. And then we have the other character. You see, I'm not saying names because there's too many names, guys. We have another character, and he's a star athlete, a star football player, I believe. Yeah, a star football player. And he pretty much knows what he's going to do with his life. He's going to play football. He's a prodigy. But then something tragic happens to the both of them that brings them together and redefines what they think their future will be. And yeah, just makes them reevaluate life. And then we have the next story, The College Route. The College Route, baby. The College Route sounds messy, but I'm here with it. Are y'all catching the theme? If y'all are y'all catching it? Because we 4 books in and this is all for one video. And this is by Denise Essex. But there's this one character. His name is Rashad, and he's like street smart and savvy, and he's with this sorority girl named Veronica. She's not really focused on school. She's just, big girl on campus. But Rashad ends up meeting is it Army brat? Yeah, an Army brat named Nina. Yeah, Nina, and he's just like intrigued by Nina in the way that she sees life. Is very different from what he's used to, and he ends up falling for her. But then, there's Veronica, and messiness ensues. That's my summary. I'll let you know how that one goes. Okay, and then we have Girl Meets Boy by Reavis. And this one's a love triangle. So this is about another college student who, I think she's a freshman. So she started school. She's trying to like forge her identity. And she meets Julian. And Julian is, I think he's cool. His personality really aligns with her personality. And then there's another character who I can't remember his name. He is like, or at least they're not in the same world. Like, it's definitely an opposite attract type of scenario. What's his name? Will. Yes. Different world, different crowd. That's the summary. But he's feeling her. He's feeling her, and she's feeling him. But also, she's feeling Julian because Julian just feels right. Who's she gonna choose? We don't know. Not even boys. Okay, in the multiple. And then the next book I have is Team Players by, who is this by? By Deanna Gray. And this one is another college romance, but this one follows two hockey captains who fake date each other because I guess one is a player and there's like a bet that he won't like be able to be faithful, I guess. Anyway, yeah. So this one is a college romance. And then we have, how many more? We have one more. Woo! Sorry, y'all. That was a lot. So the last one I have, and this is all related to the same video. This one is Young, Rich, and Black by Nia Forrester. And I already read, this is part of the Afterward series. And I already read Snowflake, which is part of the Afterward series. And the couple that's featured in this book were characters in Snowflake. So this one, the character's name is Deuce. Is it Chris? Deuce is his nickname. So Deuce is like, comes from a well-to-do family. He's a player. He's just living his best life. He's not really concerned about anything really much. And then there's Nora, who is very involved, like has a very strong social activist voice, I guess. And she wakes Deuce up to the world. Yeah, they end up falling for each other. Okay, and that was it for that video. But then I have one more book that I plan to read. I actually have to read it. It's probably gonna be the next book I read right after I finish my March books, and that is Yolanda, The Makings of Yolanda La Bruja, which I talked about in my anticipated reads for 2023. But yeah, I'm gonna actually do a review on that, so that'll be up on the channel soon. But that's my next read. So yeah, I'm excited to read that one. That one is a YA. And that's it. That's it for the ebook reads. A lot of these are actually novellas, so it shouldn't be that bad. You know, March was Women's History Month, and I saw a lot of videos just recommending Toni Morrison's work, and I realized that the only Toni Morrison that I read was in high school, and it was Songs of Solomon. And I think now is actually the most appropriate age for me to read Toni Morrison and then really enjoy it. So, from the recommendations of others, I picked up 3 different books. There was one more I wanted to pick up, but I didn't want to get carried away. That was Jazz. I didn't pick up Jazz. But I did pick up Sula. Will it focus? Why haven't I read Sula? Why haven't I read this book? And because I kept thinking, why hadn't I read this book? I was all like, wow, there's so many Toni Morrison books that I would be interested in that I have not read. So this actually is what inspired me to buy a bunch of Toni Morrison. And then also there is Tar Baby. As you see, I'm not giving descriptions because I feel like Toni Morrison is popular. Okay, and then the final book I have is The Bluest Eyes, which I believe this one concentrates more on colorism. I'll let y'all know how that goes. But yeah, I have a very ambitious reading month, which is so funny because I feel like my TBRs are usually longer than this, but I feel like I went through the most books in the shortest amount of time. But I'll let you know how these goes. We'll see if I'll get any book out. I know for sure there's one book review coming out this month. But I feel like last month I put out a lot of book reviews. Like most of my videos were book reviews, and I think these are going to be more bigger videos and with bigger tropes and themes. So anyway, let me know what you guys are reading for April. If any of the books that I mentioned you've read before, books that you're reading this month that maybe I need to check out, especially new releases. I don't think there's many new releases this month that are on my radar. So yeah, until the next time, guys, let's continue our conversation in the comments, and I will see you in another video. Deuces.